The Oklahoma City Thunder lost to the Utah Jazz and were booted out of the playoffs. And I believe some people are going to come out and say, this was all Russell Westbrook's fault. I can hear Colin Cowherd right now. Russell Westbrook, it's all his fault. And I believe some people will say that. And I also believe there are many ways to frame this as simply Russell Westbrook's fault. But I do not believe it is entirely Russell Westbrook's fault that the Oklahoma City Thunder lost. I believe saying that losing to the Utah Jazz is all Russell Westbrook's fault is intellectually dishonest. It's just not true. It's not true. It's not all Russell Westbrook's fault. Here's what I know. I'm going to make a comparison. I'm going to compare it to the Pacers and the Cavs. So the Pacers and the Cavs just had a series, and the Cavs won. And LeBron's team was awful. We were all talking about it. I was talking about it on the show. I said LeBron's team is awful. They're not giving him any help. Kevin Love was 2 for 11. In a different game, Kevin Love was 2 for 10. Kyle Korver wasn't hitting any shots. I said LeBron James has no help, and he's carrying the Cavaliers. Well, in Game 6, when the Cavaliers needed to show up, they did. LeBron scored 45. Tristan Thompson showed up. Kevin Love showed up. Kyle Korver helped him out. When LeBron James needed help, he got it. And, in Game 7, the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder, we've now shifted away from the comparison. Paul George was 2 for 16. When Russell Westbrook needed Paul George to show up, Paul George shot 12%. That's atrocious. That's awful. Paul George in Game 7 versus the Utah Jazz, Paul George scored 5 points. That's miserably awful. That is atrocious. In Game 7, the biggest game of the series, the biggest game of the year for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Paul George scored 5 points. And Carmelo Anthony wasn't any better. In both games 5 and 6, Carmelo Anthony only scored 7 points both times. And it's funny, Melo came out and said, I'm not a bench player. There's no way I'm coming off the bench. Are you blind? Are you stupid? Look, dude, it's over because you're crazy. Carmelo Anthony's career is over. He's a bench player. He's done. My point is that Russell Westbrook did not get any help. And if we're going to talk about LeBron not getting any help, it's worth noting neither did Russell Westbrook when it mattered the most. Russell Westbrook didn't get any help. And now in Game 4, the Oklahoma City Thunder, as a team, as a collective team, the Oklahoma City Thunder only had 10 assists combined. Mind you, in a game last week, the Boston Celtics had 28 team assists, while the Oklahoma City Thunder only had 10 assists as an entire team. And in Game 5, the Oklahoma City Thunder only had 13 assists. So some of that falls on Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is the point guard. Russell Westbrook is running the offense. But some of it does fall on coaching. They're playing iso ball. Why does Billy Donovan not stop them and say, we got to change it up? We're not moving very well. We're playing iso ball. It's not working for us. So Russell Westbrook has some of the blame, 100%. But so does Billy Donovan. So does the coaching staff for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But it still is somewhat Russell Westbrook's fault. I've said it's somewhat coaching. It's somewhat the fact that his teammates didn't show up. But a large portion, the reason why the Utah Jazz beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, it is a large majority, maybe 60, 70% Russell Westbrook's fault. Russell Westbrook had a bad fourth quarter. In Game 3 against the Utah Jazz, he only shot 29%. He had whatever that weird moment was with Ricky Rubio where he was fouling him and guarding him like it was his life depended on it. Or the fact that he took 3 shots in the final minute of Game 7 and missed every single one of them. That when Russell Westbrook had a shot to tie the game, he could not make it happen. So Russell Westbrook is at fault. Russell Westbrook is 60, 70% at fault for the Oklahoma City Thunder losing to the Utah Jazz. But you cannot blame it all on him. You cannot blame this loss all on Russell Westbrook. This is a team sport. And no matter how much you try and twist it, no matter how much you try and make it sound like it wasn't entirely Russell Westbrook's fault. I will acknowledge this, that the Thunder added a bunch of talent to their team. So last year, they were out in round 1. They won, I think, They won one less game than they won this year. And this year, the Thunder added all this talent. They only got one game better, and they were still out in the first round. What's the constant there? The constant is Russell Westbrook. I do acknowledge that. And if Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, if they lost the way that Russell Westbrook just did, we would blame them. We would, if LeBron James lost in round 1 to the Indiana Pacers, we would come down hard on him. We would blame him. So it's fair. It's okay with me that people are blaming Russell Westbrook. But there were other factors, in my opinion, that added to it. Because people are going to clobber Russell Westbrook today. I'm sure people did. I haven't listened to the shows today. But I think we've learned a lot about Russell Westbrook from this moment. And I do not believe Russell Westbrook will ever win an NBA title. Russell Westbrook will never win an NBA Finals because his style of play, it clearly doesn't mesh with people. He couldn't play with Paul George or Carmelo Anthony or Steven Adams. He had good players around him, didn't work. Kevin Durant left him. James Harden left him. Victor Oladipo left him, not of his own choice, but regardless. I like Russell Westbrook. I think his energy is admirable. He gives it all every time. And he's not 100% to blame. It's not all Russell Westbrook's fault. Some of it's coaching. Some of it is that his teammates did not deliver. But there is a significant portion of blame that goes down to Russell Westbrook. Not all of it. I think that's unfair. Not that life's fair, but whatever. But some of it is Russell Westbrook's fault. So that's my whole theory on Russell Westbrook. I think that it's somewhat his fault. If it was LeBron James, because here's the thing. You can blame it all on LeBron James because he's an all-time great player. I do not believe Russell Westbrook's an all-timer. He's not a top 5 player in the league. So we should judge him the same way we would judge Victor Oladipo or Donovan Mitchell or any other. I don't know. I don't see LeBron James and Russell Westbrook on the same plane. I don't think it's fair to compare them. Russell Westbrook needs help. He needs better coaching. He needs better guidance. He needs to play a little bit differently. He needs to work better with people around him. He needs to have a little better basketball IQ. Whatever that was with Ricky Rubio was just ridiculous and stupid. And he's got to deliver at the end of Game 7 when he didn't. It's his fault, not entirely his fault, but it is Russell Westbrook's fault that he didn't win the series against Utah Jazz. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. You can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on YouTube, also on Google Play. Thank you so much. If you really want to help me grow Strong Opinion Sports, though, tell your friends about the show on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Share this with your friends. Tell the world about Strong Opinion Sports. Subscribe and help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast. Thank you so much.